Okay, can you see that okay, Jake? Everybody see that?
Yep, we could see it.
Perfect, awesome. Okay, so this is the Big Brain webinar, the 7 steps to permanent change. So brain imbalances, brain boosters can help. So I'm just going to pose some questions here. Do you have ADD or ADHD? Does someone you know have those issues? Do you or a family member have autism, Tourette's, Asperger's, or even just allergies? Do you know somebody with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, or other neurological issues? Do you just want to optimize your memory and increase your brain power? Do you just want more energy or better sleep? Everything relates back to the brain. When your brain is imbalanced, when your brain is balanced, and you will be feeling good and you will be able to function in the world at your optimal. So what we're going to do during this webinar is actually learn the 7 steps to optimize brain power, focus, memory, and intelligence. We're going to discover the important heavy metal connection to a healthy brain communication. We'll learn about brain foods, nutrition, detoxing, and supplements. We're going to make the hormone neurotransmitter digestive connection. And you'll understand some self-help techniques for stress reduction and balancing. Now you can see all of those things. I could even take one of those topics and make it a whole class. So we're just going to be touching on this today. You know, and in the future, if you do want more information about just even one of those topics, please let me know, because I'm constantly developing this work and adding to it, and love that creative endeavor. So I want to tell you how I actually got started learning about brain. I had 14 mercury fillings in my mouth by the time I was 22 years old. So I have bad teeth. I inherited my mother's teeth. And then, anyway, I lived with those for years and years and years. I went to college. I became a teacher. I was teaching special education students. I used to sit across from the table when they were the reading table and ask, how come it feels to me like they were more on yesterday and their brain was working better? What's the difference between yesterday and today? Okay, so I asked all those questions. Okay, life story, got married, had my own 2 wonderful children, and after Andy was born, I crashed. Okay, I ended up with chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, MS. They really didn't know what was wrong with me. I had lots and lots of labels. And I lost my brain power. And so really this story and what I'm teaching you today is how I got my own brain back working and what I learned firsthand about how to do that. Without saying more about that, I guess a picture can save 1,000 words. I lived in a suburb of Chicago, so that Schaumburg, Illinois, that top picture, 1993. I had no front teeth for 3 months. I had a bridge made. It's a long story, and I was on oxygen for about 3 years. So I didn't just have allergies. I didn't just suffer with some muscle fatigue and fibromyalgia or whatever the label was. I crashed. I literally crashed. I was 89 pounds and not well at all. And I had 2 wonderful kids, and all I wanted to do was be a mom to those kids. And so that was my quest, was to get my brain and my health back working again. Years later, I had moved to Taos, New Mexico, to an adobe house, no chemicals, no pesticides, really just sort of prayed, spent time with my kids, homeschooled them for a while. And when I worked for a vitamin company, I was able to travel to Las Vegas, Nevada, and that was the first time I really could get on an airplane and travel and feel good again. I was at a car show, so that picture at the bottom is a car show I was at. So really, it's the learning, the recall, and the language. So it's my years of teaching those learning difference children of all ages and working summers at behavior disorder day camps with autism kids and all different kinds of imbalances. I was a special ed teacher. And then I worked for 10 years giving therapy to dyslexic students. So it was a very specific program on how to help their brain integrate the information so that they could understand that letters, were representative of sounds and how to put those sounds together. So I learned sort of how we process information, how we retain information, and the connection between speaking, writing, and communicating. So that was my background. That's my passion. So that's also how I got here, to really sort of understand more about brain and brain balancing. What I actually did was I used a multisensory approach with dyslexic students. And what that really means is you were looking at what you were combining what you say with what you hear, with what you write, and what you see. So it was like multi-sensory. And when you combined all of those together, the information was able to be taken in better and memorized better. And so what I realized is I became a naturopath and a biofeedback therapist in a quest not just for my own health, but also because I started seeing a need in my students. And I thought, you know, they're just like me. They have allergies to things, and I think that this dyslexia thing is just this brain thing that we can work on. And I did that with reading therapy. We would take kids and they would jump 2 to 3 to 4 grade levels in 1 year of therapy. And it was therapy, seeing them 3 to 4 times a week, using cards with symbols and auditory and skywriting and desk writing, so kinesthetic. All those senses were combined to help them learn. Well, what I realized when I started working with biofeedback and naturopathy and Hannah Kroger's work in healing was I hadn't really seen that multisensory approach in healing. And so people seem to have pieces of the puzzle, but they were never simultaneously worked on for that optimal result. And so because it took me 16 years, and at one point in time I went, wow, it's taken me a quarter of my life just to heal. I was like, you know, and that's why you guys, when you see me now, I'm like, I just want to go. I want to, like, I wouldn't sleep if I didn't have to. I mean, I just want to just learn and share and be in the world because it took me so long to get my health back. So my quest is for all of you out there and anyone that you're working with, your families, your friends, whoever, is to help that, speed that up, help that go faster. So that's really my passion, and that's how I sort of developed all these programs, was out of my own passion. So we're also going to look at the role that allergies play in a healthy brain, which also includes the mood and neurotransmitter function. So very, very important. And scientists keep learning new information and new things all the time. The brain still seems somewhat of a mystery, even though we know some more information now than we did 20 years ago, than we did 100 years ago. Without going into all of the brain parts and function, I'll just briefly kind of talk a little bit about this. We have like 4 different lobes of the brain. So the frontal lobe of the brain has to do with planning. So that's like you're right in your forehead. So that's the frontal lobe. That lobe of the brain is actually developing all the way until you're about 25, 26 years old. It's not complete. So when you're dealing with teenagers and they don't have this ability to do cause and effect, so they don't know that if they go to a party and they're drinking, that they get in the car, their reaction time is going to be slower. They can't make those connections exactly, so they don't have that ability to make those connections completely until they're about 25, 26. The parietal lobe of the brain has to do with movement. The occipital lobe of the brain has to do with vision. The temporal lobe of the brain has to do with language. The cerebellum is coordination and movement. The brainstem is all your body basics. And Hannah Kroger taught us a technique to actually put that brainstem back in line. So it will go out of line just from breathing and pollution. The hypothalamus is a very, very tiny little structure, just about as big as a pearl. And yet it's the master gland in this whole brain because it regulates things like sleep, hunger, thirst. It tells the pituitary what to do. Okay, so the hypothalamus pineal pituitary is called like that. It's an axis. They often talk about it together. But the hypothalamus really is changing or helping communicate to the pituitary, and the pineal, which is more the emotional, a little bit of part of the emotional brain, and your connection to spirit is also considered part of that axis. The amygdala has to do with your basic emotions. And so the amygdala is what would be out of balance if you had something like OCD or PTSD. You'll have an activation, a more activated amygdala. And that's what someone can experience panic attacks, fear. So that just means that part of the brain is out of balance. So everything, when we're talking about being healthy, we're really just talking about being in balance. So everything is about balance. So healing from that heavy metal poisoning, for me it was mercury amalgam fillings. And I want you to know mercury amalgam fillings are not just mercury. They're a combination of mercury, nickel, and lots of other metals. But healing from that taught me the relationship of metal poisoning and the brain firsthand. I also know and experience this in my own body. The metals cause adrenal and thyroid issues, digestive imbalances, panic attacks, poor recall, short-term memory issues, and speech issues. And of course, many of you have also probably read or heard about that Alzheimer's is connected to aluminum in the brain. It can be other heavy metals as well. And what we often see with Alzheimer's is you're not just going to see the memory issues, but you'll also see depression and faulty judgment. And it's also connected to your, again, we're whole people. You're often going to see circulation issues and, arterial sclerosis, those kind of issues also in those people with Alzheimer's. And it's actually said now that it's the #1 neurological disease in the United States affecting millions of people, and that's Alzheimer's. So we definitely need to do some more research and figure out how to work on that. And I can do that. I'm doing that. It's just really, really fun and fascinating. So labeled by the medical profession, when we have heavy metals in our body and in our brain, and that brain is out of balance, people are labeled with everything from chronic fatigue to multiple sclerosis to fibromyalgia to multiple allergies. Parkinson's, often Parkinson's is petroleum products. And all the Parkinson's people I ever worked on, I always see pesticide poisoning. So again, it's keeping the levels of chemicals down, and we'll talk about that. So there's 7 steps to really permanently changing your brain. If you do all these 7 steps, you can be optimal, healthy, balanced, have a good memory, have lots of energy, feel good in your life, and accomplish things that you want to accomplish. So the first one is heavy metal and chemical detoxing. The second one is nutrition and rebuilding. The third one is addressing food allergies and sensitivities. Number 4 is neurotransmitter rebalancing. Number 5 is a healthy environment. Number 6 is emotional rebalancing and building self-esteem. And number 7 is your spiritual and soul level healing. Often when I'm working in the spiritual realms with someone, it's connected to the physical. So if we can clear some spiritual or soul level patterns, it can change your brain. And that's the piece of the puzzle that I think is missing when even I'm reading wonderful research and great information out there with some of the brain gurus like Dr. Amen, who's written several books, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. Not too long ago, Mark Hyman, who's a medical doctor, wrote The Ultra Mind Solution. Just recently, Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's a chiropractor, his new book is The Placebo Effect, and he's into meditation and changing that spiritual body. So lots of great information, and yet I think we have to put it all together. And so that's what I'm attempting to do here, is really help you see that there are simple ways for us to learn this and to put this all together so you can be optimal in your life. So we're going to talk about the brain and heavy metals here for a minute. So it's the metals and environmental chemicals which contain metals that are a big part of the cause of illness today. So this is what I see with ADD and ADHD. It's lead and other chemicals. Okay, lead is in car exhaust. It's in many, many, many things. They say that babies today are born with a small amount of lead in their body. It's not just in lead paint. Autism, you're going to see mercury and other metals. MS, you're going to see mercury and other chemicals. All autoimmune imbalances, whether it's lupus, arthritis, asthma, allergies, and cancer. Copper is often the heavy metal, but it can be any metal, okay, that's in the body, or chemical that contains that metal. Copper is an interesting one because copper attracts protozoa, which is a single-celled parasite, which is indicated in many, many, many imbalances, including arthritis and Hodgkin's disease and leukemia and diabetes and rheumatism and several different illnesses. Copper will also be out of balance in women who have heavy periods or endometriosis. Copper also is related to thyroid, so I see copper related to thyroid, although I do also have a client who grew up in Thailand, and she grew up in a town where they've mined lead, and in her 30s she had thyroid cancer and she had her thyroid removed from the heavy metal lead. She's really doing well today, so she's managing fine, but that was the heavy metal that really, you know, put her thyroid out of balance. High blood pressure is related to cadmium and other metals, usually in the right kidney. So the right kidney filters heavy metals. The left kidney filters pathogens and bacteria. So when someone comes into my office and they tell me they have back pain and it's always on the right side, that gives me a clue right away about what I might be looking for or looking at. Parkinson's is metals, lead, and petroleum-based products. It gets in the nerves. You'll also see viruses in connection with this. The viruses in the spine can include the Coxsackie virus, herpes, and other viruses that come in to sort of clean up those heavy metals. So they coexist in the body. And then neuropathy. Anytime somebody has that tingling down their arms, it's often neuropathy. I recently worked with a client who does have seizures, so he has some epilepsy, and he ended up feeling like he was having a heart attack. He ended up in the emergency room. This is in southern New Mexico, and they were spraying pesticides at the time, and it definitely came up on my biofeedback program right away. I was like, gosh, you've got tons and tons of pesticides in your body. Pesticides contain mercury, arsenic, copper, lead. So, you know, there was the heavy metal connection for why he had this tingling going down his arms. I know that at times when I was going through all my detoxing with the mercury, my fingertips would tingle. It would feel like they were falling asleep after I did anything like gardening for a while with a shovel. And that actually still happens today. So, and this is how many 20 years later, if I do too much physical work like that with my right hand, and so that's neuropathy, that's damage from mercury and heavy metals in the nerves, okay? Aluminum in the brain. So aluminum is found in aluminum foil, animal feed, antacids, aspirin, auto exhaust, baking powder, beer, bleached flour, cans, ceramics, cheese, cigarette filters, color additives, construction materials, cookware, cosmetics, and dental amalgam fillings, deodorants, drinking water, drying agents, dust, insulated wiring, medicinal compounds, milk products, nasal sprays, pesticides, pollution, salt, tap water, tobacco smoke, toothpaste, treated water, and vanilla powder. The effects from aluminum are ALS, Alzheimer's, anemia, appetite loss, behavior problems, cavities, colds, colitis, confusion, constipation, dementia, dry mouth, dry skin, energy loss, excessive perspiration, flatulence, headaches, heartburn, hyperactivity, inhibition of your enzyme systems, often called the methylation pathway. So I'll talk about that a little more in depth. Kidney dysfunction, lowered immune function, learning disabilities, leg twitching, liver dysfunction, memory loss, neuromuscular disorders, numbness, osteoporosis, paralysis, Parkinson's, peptic ulcers, psychosis, reduced intestinal activity, senility, skin problems, spleen pain, stomach pain, weak and aching muscles, heart attack, intestinal cancer, low blood pressure, muscle tremors, nausea, oral cancer, skin problems, and vomiting. So, I'm reading a list here to you all. I just want you to see how all of these heavy metals can affect us, and it's going to be different for everyone. And so the more you can do with cleaning up your environment and working on detoxing your body, the healthier you're going to be. Lead in the brain. Lead is in ash, it's in auto exhaust, it's in battery manufacturing, it's in bone meal, it's in canned fruit and juice, it's in car batteries, cigarette smoke, coal combustion, colored inks, congenital intoxication, meaning mom has lead in her body, she passes it to the baby. I passed mercury to my kids, all those mercury fillings, I had them taken out after Andy was born. So they have mercury in their body from me. Cosmetics, eating utensils, electroplating, household dust, glass production, hair dyes, industrial emissions, lead pipes, lead glazed earthenware pottery, liver. Liver meaning if you eat the liver of an animal and that animal is toxic, you're also eating that. Just like the analogy when we think that the fish in the sea, the bigger fish are eating the smaller fish. It's in mascara, metal polish, milk, newsprint, organ meats, paint, pencils, pesticides, produce near the roads, putty, rainwater, PVC containers, refineries, smelters. It can be in snow, tin cans with lead soldering that are sealing, like sealing the can when they have to seal the can, such as juices and vegetables that we buy in cans. There are lead-free cans, and so you can read labels and check out companies. Everything at the health food store is not benign, is not created equal, so you do have to do your homework. It's in tobacco, toothpaste, it's in toys, especially from China. It can be in the water, in your city water or your well water, and it can be in wine. Organic wine is probably much better than just a regular bottle of wine that has sulfites in it, which is a preservative. So you want to do organic when you can. I'm not going to read everything on here, but this is the fact that lead has in our bodies. Everything from abdominal pain to adrenal insufficiency, ADD, autism, behavior disorders, deafness, depression, dyslexia, epilepsy, fatigue, hallucinations, headaches. Often people with headaches, we want to look at detoxing metals, or if they have an allergy, particularly to dairy, cheese, and wheat or gluten. Infertility, insomnia, irritability, joint pain, mood swings, muscle aches, multiple sclerosis, nausea, psychosis, renal dysfunction. Again, we're looking at kidney there. Restlessness, schizophrenia, seizures, stillbirths, tingling, tooth decay, unintentional weight loss. Hannah Kroger has a kit that I use for ADD, ADHD, and one of the homeopathic remedies in there is called Plum Bum, and Plum Bum is the one to take out lead. And so I've used that with kids and adults over the last 12 or 15 years with really, really good results as a way to begin to start detoxing that lead. Mercury and the brain. So mercury's in adhesives, air-conditioned filters, algicides, antiseptics, battery manufacturing, body powders, broken thermometers, the old-fashioned thermometers that had mercury in them, burning newspapers, building materials, cereals, congenital intoxication, I pass that on to my children, cosmetics, dental amalgam fillings, diuretics, fabric softeners. If you have a hard time with some laundry detergents and maybe fabric softeners really make you sick or bother you, it's because they have mercury in them. Floor waxes, fungicides, germicides, it's in grains, it's in industrial waste, it's in insecticides, it's in laxatives. Paints, paper products, pesticides, polluted water, preparation H, psoriasis ointment. It can be in seafood. It's in skin lightening creams, soft contact lens solution. Again, you'd have to check things out. I'm sure there's healthy options out there, but you just have to read labels, and then often you'll find it on your own. I have a lot of people that come in and they're like, I used to use this contact solution and it's really bothering me now and I have to switch. So your body will tell you if you listen. It's in suppositories, tanning leather, tattooing, water, contaminated water, and wood preservatives. And again, the effects are wide. Okay, adrenal dysfunction, allergies, anorexia, anxiety, blushing, brain damage, cataracts, poor coordination, deafness, depression, gum bleeding and soreness, hypothyroidism, headaches, hyperactivity, insomnia, joint pain, metallic taste in your mouth, migraines, nervousness, and I can certainly attest to all this. I mean, I had lots of these symptoms. My methylation pathway, my ability to detox mercury when I had all my fillings taken out in one day was not good. Okay, my kidney and liver could not handle that much mercury being dumped into my body all at once. And I'm little. I'm only like 5'3". So some of this goes a little bit by body weight. If you're a bigger or larger person, a lot of the tests done by the EPA when they're checking out whether it's a new chemical on the market, a new dental material on the market, their testing is done on a healthy adult male. Okay, they're not done on kids, they're not done on females. It's often a healthy adult male. So in their 20s. So they're at the height of their immune system being able to work well. They haven't been toxic for years yet. And yet what we're seeing is today is more and more children I'm seeing, children and teenagers who already have things like adrenal dysfunction. They already have beginning arthritis. They already have, AED, ADHD, pain in their bodies because of our pollution, because of the heavy metals, because of our food supply. So what can you do about it? Okay, so I want you to know that there are totally ways to do this. So you guys saw the picture of me. You see me now. I'm healthier now than I was when I was in my 20s. And I'm 57. And it's because of the way I live now and because of all the detoxing I did. So I can totally teach you and help you know how and what you can do to have that healthy brain. So to detox heavy metals, you want to eat more greens, green powders. N-L-acetylcysteine is an amino acid supplement that you can use. Stable glutathione. I love glutathione. When I was in the sauna program, sweating out a bunch of chemicals and heavy metals, when I was very, very ill under a medical doctor's care, he kept upping. I kept asking him, can I take more glutathione? Glutathione is an enzyme made in the second phase of the liver that helps you detox. And my body didn't make it and didn't have enough of it. And really, in capsule form, you don't absorb it very well because it isn't stable. So I work with a company now that puts together a stable glutathione. So we work together to develop my own line of products, and I absolutely love this product because it helps so many people help get their detoxification pathway healthier and stronger. It's amazing. So other things you can use are vitamin C, alpha-lipoic acid, garlic, cilantro, milk thistle. You want to sweat. If you can't sweat, we got to get you sweating. So you want to sweat more and then shower afterwards. Breath helps, breathing work, yoga, martial arts, of course, biofeedback sessions to de-stress, balance hormones, and to detox. So the stable glutathione helps you conjugate heavy metals. It's a powerful antioxidant. It protects proteins from oxidation. It helps preserve your cells, your mitochondria. It promotes the production of energy units. It protects the epithelial lining of the gut, so it's protecting your gut lining. It helps prevent the oxidation of antioxidants such as vitamin C and E. So it activates the enzymes in what we call the methylation process, which just means how you detox, how your body does that. Biofeedback in the brain, everything is energy. So everything vibrates at a frequency. Change can be made at the cellular level. It's like rebooting the hard drive of your body or your energy field. All disease begins in the energy field. So if you have pain in your knee, I do a demonstration where I would have you hold your knee and I would muscle test you and show you that the pain isn't directly in and on that knee, that the pain actually begins maybe a foot to 2 feet out away from your body. That's a really valuable demonstration. So when people see that and they get it, that the pain starts in the field, they understand we have to do the field work as well as the physical work. So if it's truly structural, you know, maybe you do need some structural. And I'm not a fan of surgery because I've helped people not go there many, many times. But if you were in a car accident and you definitely needed some help with some structural surgery, that's good, you know. But the pain still has to be addressed in the field, meaning I'm not opposed to having that taken care of, but you still have to address the pain in the field. So I'm a junkie with biofeedback. I have 5 different programs. My newest one, the Beautiful Balanced Brain, you guys will experience today, so hang around because I'm going to do a session on you, at least a partial session so you can feel it. And it works long distance like sending a fax or a text. So we can send energy long distance just like you can send a prayer, okay, or positive energy to somebody. So we definitely can do that. So my newest program includes the solfeggio frequencies, and they were used in the ancient Gregorian chants. And there's one called it's 528 hertz, and it actually repairs the DNA. So let me see, I'm going to go ahead for a minute. So these chants, or these special tones, were believed to impart tremendous spiritual blessings when sung in harmony during religious masses. So 528 relates to the note Mi on the scale. It actually means Mi Ra Gestorum. In Latin, that means miracle. So scientists have done studies with frequency, and they took someone's blood and they put it into petri dishes. And one petri dish was in the room that they were in, and they took the other one and they put it first in another room in a big, big building, and then they moved it 3 miles away. And they played some frequencies, these solfeggio frequencies and sounds for the blood to hear. I mean, actually right next to one petri dish of that person's blood. And then they had a microscope hooked up where they could look at the blood through a microscope on a screen. And what they found was that the blood 3 miles away changed when they played frequency for that blood that was present with them. And they were proving how you could definitely send frequency and how we are definitely connected. You're connected to yourself. So, and that's the way a text message works too. How can you possibly connect to someone in Italy, send them a message, and have them get it? You know, that's pretty cool if you think about it. So what I'd like to do is actually play these for you now so you can feel this. And I'll walk you through what each one of these frequencies are. And so let's leave it on here so you all can see this. So this is just part of my Beautiful Balanced Brain program. The other part is a matching tool. And so it's looking at your whole body, at everything from your brain to your emotions to a nutrition panel to your skin to allergies to, I mean, it's just vast what's in there. And so it really is doing your physical, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual hologram or your blueprint of who you are. by creating this matching tool, meaning if you had, let's say you were low in vitamin B6 or you needed B6 to help balance you, vitamin B6 would come up. Let's say you had a parasite in your body. Let's say it was a blood fluke. Blood flukes would come up. And then when you broadcast that information to somebody, it puts them back in balance. So that's how it works in a very simplified way of explaining it. And I know if some of you out there listening today have experienced this, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'm going to invite you to definitely give me a call so we can do this. Okay, so you can have a session and experience it. But right now, what I'd like to do is turn the. I have actually the Big Brain webinar, so all of you out there are loaded into my computer and just as the Big Brain webinar, and so I can broadcast these sounds to you now. Get that set up here. Let's turn the volume up. So cool. All right. So this is 285, influencing the energy fields. 396, liberating guilt and fear. So close your eyes for a minute and allow these sounds to take you to these places. Allow yourself to facilitate change. Begin thinking that you're repairing every cell in your body. Your DNA is changing. (639) Connecting and understanding relationships. 741 Awakening intuition. 852 Returning to a spiritual order. 963 Connecting with light and spirit. 174 Removing pain. 174 Allow your energy field to be influenced to make the changes that it needs to now. Allow all the guilt and fear to leave, to dissipate. Bring yourself to a sense of peace. Facilitate change. Honor, be open to the new changes. Meditate on every cell in your body healing, feeling better, uplifted. Connect and understand relationships on a deeper level. Give yourself permission to receive. Awaken your intuition, your connection to spirit, to God, your higher power. Make sure you're breathing. Breathe. Return to that spiritual order. Connect with light and spirit. Remove any pain, physical, mental, emotional pain. Allow the influence in your energy fields to take place to a higher vibration. Another deep breath in. See the movie in front of you now that you want to create. Picture your life, the change you want, as you want to see it on a large movie screen, and allow that to be. What shift do you want to make? Allow it now. Take another deep breath in and let it out. Now I'm going to continue to play those sounds. I hope that was all really good for you. So you can allow that change. Allow what it is you want to have in your life. Allow your brain to be perfect. Have it work in perfect order. A lot of healing is about allowing. This is actually a chart that shows what everything is connected to. So it's really kind of neat when you think about it. I'm going to start at the bottom. It actually goes even lower than this, but the chart only included the 396, which has to do with the root chakra, which is the color red, which helps you liberate guilt and fear. It's connected to earth and grounding. And then it lists the parts of the body there. Your adrenals, the base of your spine, your legs, your bones, your teeth, your large intestines, your prostate, your bladder, your blood, your circulation. You could have related dysfunction. Dysfunctions could be weight problems, hemorrhoids, constipation, sciatica, degenerative arthritis, knee problems, being self-centered, survival issues, insecurity, fear, and constipation. So, in our world today, you can see we all need to be more grounded. And if we were going to pray for our earth and for planetary issues, it's this frequency, it's this chakra that we need to be focused on. The next one is Ray, and that's orange, and that's 417 hertz. And this helps resolve past trauma and facilitate change. Connected to water, it's the second chakra, so it's just above the groin area. So your reproductive organs has to do with the ovaries, the womb, the testes, the genitals, the kidneys, and the prostate. The related dysfunction would be impotence, frigidity, uterine problems, kidney and bladder difficulties, stiff lower back, self-rejection, low self-esteem, overindulgence, jealousy, and emotional instability. Me is that gold color, and me would be the stomach chakra. So it's 528 hertz. This is the one for transformation and miracles and DNA repair. It's connected to fire. It's the pancreas, digestion, liver, gallbladder, stomach, the nervous system, the muscles. Dysfunctions could be ulcers, diabetes, hypoglycemia, digestive disorders, gallstones, fatigue, anxiety, control issues, and negative thinking. Green, so Fa is the heart chakra. So this is 639 hertz. It's connected to air. The body parts are thymus, heart, lungs, breast, immune system, circulatory system, and respiratory system. Dysfunctions might be asthma, high blood pressure, heart disease, lung disease, lack of self-love and acceptance, loneliness, emotional instability, heart problems, and circulation. Soul is blue. This is the throat chakra, so right around your throat. So you want to picture that color blue. It's 741 hertz. This is ether. The body parts are the thyroid, the parathyroid, the throat, the esophagus, the larynx, the neck and shoulders, and the auditory system. You could have related dysfunction in the thyroid, hearing problems, sore throat, stiff neck, colds, sluggish metabolism, weight problems, creative blocks, suppression, and weak willpower. La, which is the color indigo is the 6th chakra. So this is the third eye, if you will, so it's around the eyes. Has to do with the pituitary, the pineal gland, the brain, the hypothalamus, the nose, the eyes, the nervous system. Dysfunctions might be headaches, eye strain, blurred vision, nightmares, sinus problems, severe headaches, nervous breakdown, bad dreams, lack of connection, and conflicts. And of course, many of you know that the crown chakra is white, and in some books it's like a light pink, and that's your connection to God or to spirit. So what I have to offer you all, and we've got more to do today, but I wanted to just get this in here too, is you have an opportunity to be a part of our Brain Boosters group. And what I did is when I had too many people to actually see during a week, I thought, well, how can I help them more? And so I designed these groups. And the first group was really many of my ADD, ADHD students and their families and some adults that also have those issues. So the first group I ever really developed was Brain Boosters. Now I have an abundance group, an anti-aging group, but we're in the brain group right now. So in the fall, I do the brain group. So we just started this. And what I do is I send frequency from this program that you just listened to, as well as another computer. Sometimes I do 2 or 3 computers at the same time. So it totally leaps people and helps them be more balanced, focused, concentrate, sleep better, communication between people and families starts to change. It's only $65 a month, and I work on you 4 times in a month, every Wednesday night. Or you can pay $165 for 3 months and put a family member in for free. And that developed because when I saw people coming together and I put husband and wife teams in there, everything changed in their lives. Communication was better, they were happier. It was so cool. It was so amazing to see. So if you really add it all up, just giving you the numbers, it was only $685 per session per person. Session with me is $125. First one is $250, so that's nothing. Okay? So you can see the numbers there. And so if you want to get involved in that group, there's 2 ways to do it. You can go to, actually, I'll show you this in a second here. Maybe I could show you right now. You can go to beautifulbalancedbrain.com. Let me pull that up for you. So this is our new website, and you can read more about it here. And there's a way to get involved for the 1 month or for 3 months. We're going all the way through like December 10th, so it goes for the next 3 months. Or just give us a call. So you can call us at 505-797-0540. So here are your options. I did put a third option in this time because I had so many people who said to me, well, can my husband have a session with you? So I thought, well, what if I gave an option where people could have a private session and then also be a part of the group? And so I did that as well this year, so that's new this year. I think that's $397. So give us a call and let us know if you want to be involved in that group. Love to have you in that group. It's absolutely amazing what we've seen happen.
Louise, can I say something real quick on that?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think when all of us think about joining another group or another subscription or something else, I know we're overwhelmed, whether it's your cell phone bell or whether it's a new group, even though we want to. And what's different about these groups is that there's nothing really automated about the group. And Louise, I know you're going to show the software or you played some of the Salvaggio tones, but can you just go into just briefly sharing with everyone like what manpower it actually takes, like a little bit about that process behind the scenes, because I just want everyone to understand the value of the attention given to each member of each group. Like I think don't obviously the proprietary recipe, you're not giving that away, but I know that it takes time to load each person, run them through, and that's again, if you were to pay the individual sessions, it's not comparable. So can you just share a little bit about that, because that's important, I think, for people to understand when they're considering this for themselves or their family.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for clarifying that or asking that, Jake. I'm using predominantly two programs on the Brain Boosters group. So at 8:30 on Wednesday night, I get set up in my office here. I've got the music playing, the candle going, the whole deal. I have a strong intention, and I'm using a program called the Core, and the Core is a different biofeedback program that actually scans the brain. So it scans the nerves of the brain, the circulation of the brain, the spine. Often I do kidneys, I do eyes. It also has frequency, and it also has things like flower essences and color therapy and stuff in it. So that's one program that I have turned on. For that program, I can put your name, your birthday, and your place of birth in a Word document and put that in that whole program and work on you as a group. And you will all receive it because that information, your name, your birthday, and where you're born, is your unique signature. In addition to that, when I got my new program, it's a scale-in platform, meaning it's a platform that was developed to create like a biofeedback frequency program. I put all my brain work in it. So I have nutrition of the brain. I've got the neurotransmitters of the brain. I always do the affirmations. But for that program, I have to physically load each person individually. So it takes a lot of time. And I can only have 20 people in a group. So I have to pull up that, and I have over 100 people, maybe more now. Probably is about 150 maybe people in this group. So I got about 8 groups. So I have to do each group separately. So I'm doing each group separately, and I start at 8:30 Mountain Time, and I'm often not done till 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. Because each group might take 15 minutes. And I'm figuring out, what does that group want? What's resonating with most group members? So if most group members need, let's say, phosphatidylserine, which is a enzyme that helps the brain, and maybe the next group is resonating with probiotics that support the neurotransmitters. So it just takes that long. So I want you to know, I'm not just like, doing 20 minutes of a Reiki session on the group. No, and then so it's a big process. But what I'm seeing is the results. So when I think about the results, here's some of the results. I'm definitely noticing a difference. When I wake up in the morning, everything is clear and crisp, no more brain fog. I'm not waking up as much in the middle of the night, and I also notice a difference in my son. I'm so happy to say I'm experiencing a real noticeable benefit from your work. This was way back in 11/11. Last year, I didn't even put those in here, but last year we had a grandmother in Hawaii, and her grandson was in the group, and he said, I'm really studying. Studying isn't as hard for me, Grandma, and I'm really, really doing well in school, and saw a noticeable difference there. There's a YouTube with Holly. Holly is about 6, and she's pretty ADD, and we watched major changes in her after being in the group. So her and her brother are in the group this year. So that's just some kids stuff. Adults say, I'm communicating better. I'm communicating with my husband better. We're sleeping better. Everything seems to be shifted. Things are getting easier in my life. And I get thousands of those emails all the time. I can't even keep them all. So it's amazing. I hope that helps answer some of your questions. I certainly love questions. So if you have more questions, please let me know. And I know, Jake, you and Lisa have been in a few of the groups, and
Yeah.
And I know you're experiencing some changes as well.
Absolutely. Well, I know that Wednesday evenings we're getting, let's call it the extra push over that hump day that we need each week. It's that's why I like that it's Wednesday. It's in the middle of that week to help us finish strong, and it's nice to really know we're part of something that's refocusing, helping us refocus and stay strong, for our daily lives, our families, our business, and the little guy who has us running circles around our house. So I'll tell you, and you know, it's just amazing work you do, Luis, and I'm excited for you, and where all of this brain-based wellness and brain-based medicine, brain-based health, I think everybody on understands the value of that, or they wouldn't have shown up. And a lot of you who are practitioners, you're always adding just bits of food for thought. So, Luis, you disclose and you share so much of your personal, but also your professional wisdom. And for those of you who are possibly working with the practitioners who've invited you onto the platform today, um, again, the brain is just this, I think, untapped potential of what it is. And again, the more we learn about it, the more we become aware that it is part of our general, daily, and basic, not only fundamental health, but to get to that achieved optimal health is what I believe we all strive for. Well, not everybody strives for, but I believe if you're on this call, you are. Um, we need to keep having a coach, a reminder, or in positive influence, whether it's this brain group or not, whether it's your parents, your friends, your own investment of education and study, it doesn't matter. The whole idea here is to really start to pay attention to how this ticker works, learn about it, but also do something about improving it. Because again, knowledge is wonderful. It's at the beginning point of anything, right? Awareness, being aware. But if you don't, A, have the motivation and the why and that oomph inside to change some of your dietary habits or your lifestyle, or commit to, well, on a Saturday afternoon, spending an hour in front of your computer listening to something, then that will has to be there. But then there's a third element. You got to know what to do and how to do it. The skill set. It's the old Franklin Covey's triad of any habit changes from the will, the why, the inspiration, the how, knowing what it is, why it's important, all that, but then how to do it. And so that's something that this is part of supporting you in all of those elements, but this is one way how to do it. Does that make sense? Am I
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Jake. That's absolutely awesome. Yeah, that's what I love to share. And because many of you have, and I want to keep going here. Many of you have listened to lots of webinars probably in the past, and when someone's had a personal experience with something, they have a different touch hold on it. They've been through it. You can get it in a different way. Um, I do want to make sure I go over those 7 steps with you today, so we have a little bit more to do. So I hope that you can hang on here. This is nutrition and rebuilding, and I'm going to go pretty quickly through some of this. Many of you already know this, but I call the basics minerals, fish oil, and probiotics. Okay? When you have those 3 items in your body, minerals make all your enzyme systems work. Fish oil is very important for the brain, circulation, metabolism, everything. Probiotics is the good bacteria that's in your gut. And you have more neurotransmitters in your gut than you do your brain. So when I was working with a naturopath, when I was that sick, he said, Louise, you will always be healthy if you always get enough probiotic in your gut. So I eat cultured foods, cultured vegetables, kefir, all that good stuff, make my own kombucha that has all the good fermented good probiotic in it, in addition to taking a daily probiotic. I should tell you that all of my nutritional supplements, the ANHC brand right now, we have on sale for 15% off, doing a big sale in September, and I put frequency in my product. I put it on the tray and I blast it with my beautiful balanced brain frequency, and so it's better absorbed. So it's been amazing to see what happens with that too. So people, and I never knew where this was going to go when I started this. I just thought, God, this is a great idea. I can't wait to try this, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I'm seeing people are like, oh man, these are the best minerals and I need 3 bottles. And, total recall. I have a lady who's 83. Oh my gosh. And, brain issues at 83. And she's just as cute as can be and wants to learn and grow. And we cleared her energy field. And I had her on other brain stuff. Okay, when she first came to me, she was super sensitive, and I had to sort of work her up. Total Recall has totally helped her.
Hmm.
Mood Max, I love the Mood Max. This one has a great combination of mood support in it. So this helps support calmness and healthy mood. Here's the Total Recall again. It's got the B vitamins. It's got a patented form of 5-MTHF, which is some research that they've done with enzymes that help the brain. It's ginkgo biloba. It's another very important herb for brain, and I can't even say that, but it's Bacopa monneria. It helps the antioxidant activity in the brain, and I'm going to talk in a minute about something scientists have just discovered with what we call glycation, which is interesting way we develop. We actually detox just at the brain level. So you guys know the nutrition do's and don'ts. So the don'ts are, no refined sugar, no pop, cake, cookies, box cereals, sugars in almost everything. Some of the names of refined sugars are sucrose, dextrose, maltose, lactose, and fructose. You want to limit those yeasty foods such as breads and pizza. You want to eat fermented soy only, as miso. Soy is estrogenic. It puts the thyroid gland out of balance. Eat organic as much as possible. Read labels. Stay away from MSG and other preservatives and food dyes. You want to think colors. The more colors you have on your plate, the better. If it comes in a box, it's probably not good for you. You want to shop the outside aisles of the food stores. And I'm encouraging everyone to pretty much stay away from gluten and wheat, especially if you live in America. It feels like other countries don't have the problems we have here with that. Dairy products, yogurt, organic yogurt seems okay for people, but a lot of the dairy products are very congesting. Sugar, corn is GMO'd, so corn often is not good for many, many people, and these are the most inflammatory foods. If you need to be using dairy products, there's milk, there's rice milk, hemp milk, coconut milk, almond milk. There's lots of milk substitutes to use. Food allergies actually affect the brain a lot. Okay? So this is what they can do. Everything from headaches to weight problems to asthma to irritable bowel and bloating, food cravings, skin problems, water retention, bladder issues, nausea, all kinds of things are connected to sensitivities to foods. And so when we're healing your brain, we're actually also working on healing digestion, because leaky gut occurs when the mucus lining of the small intestine becomes too porous. It allows the toxins and the food particles and the pathogens to enter the bloodstream. And then the immune system looks upon those proteins as if they're foreign invaders, and they start making antibodies against them, and that's what creates the food allergy in the first place. So it's the small intestine where you actually absorb all your nutrients. So when those undigested proteins and pathogens are in your bloodstream, whether it's a bacteria, a fungus, a parasite, a virus, you're not going to get the nutrition you need. So it's always about optimizing your gut will also optimize your brain. So it's the enteric nervous system is a network of over 100 billion neurons in the gut that not only can signal our bodies to stress, but also cause illness. So you want to think about your gut as a little chemical lab. So nearly every chemical found in the brain also exists in your gut. The main transmitter used in the GI tract is serotonin. Many of you have probably heard of serotonin. So it's the chemical that when released properly gives you that happy, contented feeling. Especially, it's almost like you had a great tasty meal and you're feeling very, very satisfied. 95% of the body's serotonin resides in the gut. So when you see people with irritable bowel syndrome and or colitis or bloating or issues, you're going to see them. They're going to tell you their brain doesn't work properly. It's connected. Okay. Parkinson's and Alzheimer's lesions and plaques are found in the brain, are also found in the gut. So the nerves in the gut are sick, and they're just as sick as the nerves in the brain. Neurotransmitters are naturally occurring chemicals that send or relay messages throughout the brain, as well as many other organs and tissues throughout the body. So this is just a picture, actually, of what happens. There's actually a space here, which is called the synapse. And those neurotransmitters, these little purple dots, those are the neurotransmitters that leap from the dendrite to the axon. So they're leaping from the nerve. So this is the nerve connection pathway. And that space where those neurotransmitters are released, it's called the synapse, but actually it's also your spiritual connection. We heal in the spaces. So the great masters in China said, you will heal in spaces. And there's spaces everywhere. There's spaces between these nerves. There's spaces between each word in this paragraph. There's spaces between each letter. Okay? In your body, there's spaces between your pleural cavity and where your lung is and where your heart is, and no matter how small that is. There's spaces in the crevices of the brain. So there's tiny places in the world where there are spaces everywhere. There's spaces between our homes. There's spaces between cars parked in a parking lot. I mean, just think about that on a bigger level for a minute. It's huge. We need space. I think in New Mexico, if you're in New Mexico and you're listening, we love our big blue skies here. It creates space. So this is just another picture of that serotonin reuptake. So here's those neurotransmitters jumping from, again, the axon to the dendrite, so the nerve cell. There's actually different types of neurotransmitters that are all working at the same time to keep you in balance. Certain neurotransmitters have an inhibitory effect on the brain, okay, and these are acting kind of as a chemical restraint system. So these chemicals help to relax and calm you down and protect you from behavior like binge eating, drug addiction, and even violent behavior. Other neurotransmitters have an excitatory effect on the brain chemistry and the rest of your body, and they stimulate that high level of energy, and they even stimulate your sex drive. So a few of those names are dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine, and they help create balance, and balance in your mood, balance so you're not anxious. The major neurotransmitters, the feel-good ones, are endorphins. They're like opioids, so they're mood elevating, enhancing, euphoric. They're natural pain relievers. Norepinephrine, which is excitatory, feeling happy, alert, motivated. It's an antidepressant, appetite control, helps you with energy and sexual arousal. Dopamine helps with feelings of bliss and pleasure. It also helps with appetite control, controlling your motor movements, helps you feel focused. Acetylcholine was the first neurotransmitter that scientists discovered. It helps us with alertness, memory, sexual performance, and it releases the growth hormone. And phenylethylamine is for feelings of bliss. It's involved in those feelings of infatuation. And the reason you crave chocolate, possibly, if you do, is because it has that in it. So it helps you feel that feeling of bliss. The enkephalins restrict or transmit pain. They reduce cravings and they reduce depression. GABA is found throughout the central nervous system. It's for anti-stress, anti-anxiety, anti-panic, anti-pain, helps you feel calm, maintains control and focus. Now, some of these, like GABA, some of you may have even purchased as a supplement at the health food store. What I've seen with GABA is some people can tolerate that as an amino acid in a supplement form, and some people it puts really, really out of balance. And so again, everybody's different and unique. There's hormonal neurotransmitters, serotonin, which helps promote sleep, improves your self-esteem, relieves depression, diminishes craving, prevents worrying. Melatonin, again, this is also offered as a supplement. People sometimes take this to help them sleep. It helps rest, recuperation. It's an anti-aging hormone. It regulates the body clock. Oxytocin is stimulated by dopamine. It promotes sexual arousal. It has feelings of emotional attachment. You'll get that desire to cuddle. Now, all of these neurotransmitters and what they're related to are in my Beautiful Balanced Brain program. So I am giving you, when you're in that program, the information, the frequency of serotonin or oxytocin to help balance. So some weeks it's serotonin when you're in the brain program, sometimes it's oxytocin, sometimes it's acetylcholine. So and I'm only going to do things that I know people as a group need or will balance them and won't put them out of balance. So for example, if testosterone came up on the program, I would not broadcast that information to a whole group of people because everybody might not need testosterone. Serotonin, nobody's not going to benefit from that. So that's the thinking along those lines. Many of you may have heard of phosphatidylserine. It enables your brain to metabolize glucose. So it helps with learning, memory, and other cognitive functions. It increases communication between the cells of your brain. It's essential to your brain cells' ability to send and receive chemical communication. So scientists have found that this is a very important part of what we can do to help balance the brain, and it is in our Total Recall. Here's the newest information that I found out on the brain that I think is incredibly fascinating. We have something now that scientists are calling the glymphatic system. It's your brain's waste removal system. So they made a big discovery and found out that in Alzheimer's patients, there was a link to the brain's garbage truck theory, they call it. So research at the University of Rochester Medical Center have discovered a system by which the brain removes waste as a powerful new tool to treat neurological disorders. So they're just now learning that there's a complex waste removal system for your brain called the glymphatic system. So this system is not detected in brain tissue, but new imaging technology called two-photon microscopy, which enables scientists to peer deep within the living brain. And so scientists will learn more about this unknown plumbing system that's responsible for flushing waste from the brain. Now, you could bet, given that I'm sharing my story with you, that was gunked up. It did not work for me. I didn't know about this then. I knew that my liver and kidney were not functioning properly and that I really wasn't eliminating the waste products, the heavy metals that were floating around in my body properly, and I needed to optimize that. But now we're learning even more, and there may be specific things we can do in the future. The coolest thing is I can already add this information in to my frequency program now and already begin to help people with this. So I'm putting together a new tray for that. This was just a schematic drawing of where they feel like the metabolic waste gets stuck. Okay? So if some of the waste is getting stuck between the nerve cells and the brain, we got to figure out how to get it out of there. Another piece of the puzzle when you're looking at those 7 steps to optimize your brain is having a healthy, clean environment. Again, many of you know this already, but it's natural cleaning products, natural personal care products. Fluoride, which is in toothpaste, damages the thyroid gland. So fluoride, chloride, bromine, all of the halogen family, we call it, it displaces iodine, and it doesn't help your thyroid work like it could. And the other thing that's affecting all of our thyroids today is certainly radiation. So radiation and electrical pollution is huge. You can go to antennasearch.com, put in your address, and look up how many cell phone towers are in your area. In a 4-mile radius of my home, there were 39 cell phone towers, and only 9 were legal. I was like, you're kidding. Oh my gosh. So we all need protection. Now that little blue bead that you see there, I have these. I wear this on a necklace every day, and this protects me from radiation and electromagnetic fields. I have other tools I use too, but this has been amazing for me. So, and when I travel on airplanes, when I go teach, I actually wear 2 of these. So there are ways to protect yourself, and those are only like 15 bucks. They're cheap. You don't need a lot, you just need to know about it. So you need to know what you can do about it. Geopathic stress is a whole new another topic. All I'm going to say about that is if people have sleep issues or cancer or degeneration in their bodies and they're not sleeping well, your home, your property, wherever you are, you may have what we call stress from the earth that's affecting that. And there's ways to use copper wires and things to grid your property. And so if that's something you're going through, ask me about that. And finally, we want to talk about emotions and building self-esteem. So certainly our emotional body affects our brain. We can't separate us. We're whole people. You want to protect yourself from negative people and places. So you have choices about where you go and what you want to do and who you want to spend time with. And so being selective and following your intuition will help you here. The closer you honor your intuition, the more joyful your life will be. And there are lots of tools you can use. You can put white light all the way around you. I use a rainbow meditation where I'm putting all the colors of the rainbow around me. Essential oils, having a very strong, clear intention, prayer, crossing. Hannah taught us to cross our arms in front of us. Wash your hands and spray them with lavender water. Positive points, which is part of my Geotran class. 2-3 love. 5-3 forgiveness, 6-5 choice, 9-2 freedom, 4-2 greater love. Loving, of course, love, love, love heals all. So I think many of us are difficult and tough on ourselves. So you want to be gentle with yourself. Smile. You know, when you smile on the outside, you teach your whole self to smile on the inside. So practice being in that state of grace, because being in a state of gratefulness raises your frequency and helps protect you from all the negative stuff in the world. So if you can say 3 things you're grateful for every night, grace will bring you joy. You want to forgive and accept. That's really important for healing, and I have to include the word accept there, because many of us know about forgiveness and healing, but often when I'm coaching people and working with people, it's not about forgiveness. They have forgiven themselves. There's just something in their life they're not accepting. Okay, so a lot of it is about accepting. So I want you to be thinking about that this weekend and figure out where are you at. You don't want to accept the fact that you have to hang with negative people. That's not what I mean. I mean, maybe there's something you're not accepting in yourself, or maybe you're not accepting something in your partner, or maybe you need to come to a place of clearing some energy, some old soul ties. And I have found more and more, especially in the last 3 to 4 weeks here, I mean in the last couple of years, but the last 3 or 4 weeks, if you've had an intense time, it's because there's a lot of energy flying around the planet and there's a lot of shifting happening. And the energy fields right now, way, way out 10 to 20 feet, 100 feet around you, energy in, let's say, the astral body is exploding and imploding. And that old energy of fear or resentment or guilt or shame or whatever the issue is coming up to clear. And so oftentimes it's ancestral, meaning it was great, 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 great grandma's. And you're carrying it in your field, your energy field, and we have to release it. And once we release that, then you can be more you. Okay, so I just worked with somebody last night on this. It was pretty interesting. We had to go all the way back to an issue with, it was about 9 generations back to a grandmother on Dad's side, and was carrying judgment. And when we released that judgment, this person was able to be in a different space, just a different space with stuff. So it is about that right now. So we want to, and so I relate this all back to the brain. So when you clear this, you're clearing the soul level. You're clearing that lymphatic system. So yes, scientists can talk about the physical brain and what we need to clear in your physical brain, but we also have to clear the soul level. And Dr. Hamer was a German doctor that discovered that those traumas actually get stuck in different parts of the brain and cause a lesion in the brain. And when you release that emotional trauma, you are helping that brain heal. So that's why I like to do all of that. Biofeedback balances the neurotransmitters. We have 5 different programs that I use. I don't know, a lot of my friends, when they get a new one, they would sell the old biofeedback program that they used. And for some reason, I've kept them all, and I feel like there's a different application for each. And so I like having all those tools because something is going to work on somebody differently than something else. But if you do these 7 steps outlined here, and I think I named them again. Did I name them again? So the 7 steps that we outlined here, and I will send you a handout on that too, to optimize your brain power. And then join our Brain Boosters group and experience the difference for yourself. So I invite you all to do that. I almost know I can guarantee you'll be happy about that. And so I'm giving you till, can't see it here. I guess I can move that. Whoops. Till Monday. Through Monday, if you give us a call, okay, and you can check out the www.beautifulbalancebrain.com, and you'll also see some information about the Brain Boosters group there. So give us a call at 505-797-0540, or you can email me. I'll give you that email. It's Louise, L-O-U-I-S-E, Swartz, S-W-A-R-T-S, at msn.com. And email me your questions too. I love questions. I want to know how you guys are doing, what you thought about all this, if you have questions about any of the information. We will also get the recording out to people who are not able to be here today. Let's see. Oh, here's some more testimonials. This was pretty cool. This was a lady who lives in New Mexico who brought her brother, and he had a brain injury, and he actually didn't speak very much. He was really, really super quiet in our groups. And towards the end of the group, he was sharing information and much more social with us. It was really cool to see. So I know that we made great change for his brain that year. The other thing I have coming up, some of you might be interested in, is the Geotran class. And Geotran is brain, mind, body integration. And this is out in California, probably the like Huntington Beach, Long Beach area. It's so November 15th, oops, it should say 15th and 16th actually, Saturday and Sunday. And so that's coming up too. So if you have questions about that, please let me know. I'm happy to talk with you about that. There's some YouTube things on that too. And I want to thank you all for being here today. I deeply, deeply love sharing with everyone, and look forward to working with you all in the future here. So let's open it up, I guess, for questions here. Jake, let's see, and the show.
All right, and when you open back up your the
Google thing.
The Google thing.
Okay, cool. And what am I doing?
What you can do is, first of all, stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
And
okay. Hi, everybody. Hi.
And you're back live there.
Yay! This is the coolest stuff. I mean, I love that we could do this over the computer.
I do too. So now what you can do is you can open up the webinar jam, and you can open up the chat box. And there were a few questions at the beginning, yet you were in the role, and I didn't want to interrupt you. So if, for example, Zandra asked, can you please repeat left kidney, please? I don't know what that was. It was at the beginning of the webinar. Alana asked vaccinations. Do you see the chats?
I do. Okay, so Zandra, so the left kidney filters pathogens, so like bacteria, bacteria, fungus, mostly bacteria though. So the remedy that might work on that is black radish and parsley is Hannah Kroger's remedy for the left kidney. The right kidney is going to filter heavy metals, and so it's going to be a homeopathic remedy. It's going to be greens, cilantro, vitamin C, garlic. All of the good metal cleansing kinds of products can help with that. And of course, eating a healthy diet and optimizing kidney function. And there are kidney cleanses you can do too. So I hope that helps answer that. And hello, Ellen. Awesome. Yay. I hope you're doing well. And hi, Alana and Chris. Okay, any other questions here?
There was one about vaccinations.
Vaccinations, okay.
Uh,
Vaccinations
it,
have a
it,
lot of, well, they
it,
have thimerosal in them, so it's mercury oftentimes. They also have tons and tons of preservatives and different chemicals, like lots of chemicals in vaccinations. I'll tell you a story about Jasik. So Jasik is, and Mom gave me permission to use his name, or I wouldn't be doing that here. He is 4. He's autistic. I've worked with him for probably just about a year now. It took me only about 6 months to get him with the beautiful balanced brain more social in school, sleeping better, health was better, all kinds of changes occurred in him. And I didn't actually plan on working with him with the beautiful balanced brain each and every session that he came. But it just happened that way because there's no wires and hookups, and it was just easier for us to do that program at that time. But it turned out to be amazing. When they first came in, they came in with the whole folder from the doctor and all the immunizations that he had had. And Mom said to me, after the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccination, is when he shut down and stopped babbling and didn't play in his walker like he used to. He just became kind of lethargic and limp. And so she started learning about the vaccinations then and learned what she needed to do for her child. And so you can detox those vaccinations on the programs. So my program comes up with that, some of the other programs, and I have a tincture for miasm vaccination. This is actually a White Dove Healing Arts tincture that will help with the miasm for vaccination, which has the homeopathic mercurius in it, as well as a couple other heavy metals and some balancers. So you definitely can, detox vaccinations, and that's a whole big issue. People are, different people are going to have different thoughts on that about what they need to do for their children. I want to mention this too, and Jake, you probably know this too, but White Dove Healing Arts does have a vaccination, a homeopathic vaccination program using a viral fuge, a vermifuge, a fungi fuge, a bacteria fuge for children. It's awesome. So
and
there's
we're
lots you can do with that.
we're doing that right now for our little man, who's a year and a half. He'll be a year and a half this month. He'll be 18 months, and we've not had any vaccinations, and we've gone through we're going through it right now with the Immunopoi, the Viral Fuge, and there's a few other little elements. There's also a really wonderful line that White Dove Healing carries called Kitorol, which is over the counter. The Immunopoi and the other professional use homeopathics, you'll have to order those through a practitioner. So you can call Luis directly to order those, and then they can get drop shipped to you. But in terms of the over-the-counter ones, there's some really wonderful formulas too. But it's working. And to go back there, Luis, and look at the huge schedule of that we haven't had to put into the little man's body. And we've got a
Yeah.
great pediatrician who understands our approach, and they have to actually promote it each time we go for his checkups. And we just, proudly decline. And I don't get into questioning and giving the doctor a hard time. She's really respectful of our wishes. But the homeopathic approach has been just really, really great. And he's doing good. And it's really important at this time of the year when the weather's changing, you're inside more, there's again the cold and flu season, right? We want to protect ourselves. So anyway, back to you.
Oh, that is just awesome. I'm so grateful to hear that. And I'm grateful that your pediatrician is open-minded too. That's really great. That's great. I want people to know that that's possible too, because I hear lots of stories from people and complaints, I'm going to say, and yet there are great people out there. There's great doctors. You just have to look for them. You just have to look for them, but they're there. And so, and then have an intention that that's who you're gonna get to work with. So that's great, Jake. I'm so glad that that's working for your son, for you guys. That's super. Let's see. There was another question, and I actually can't see it. It's below a box here. Can you see the question from Susan? I can't quite see it.
You can scroll in the box, but let me.
It won't let me do it.
Susan, okay, well, I see a couple, and by the way, on a separate note, everyone, I did post in the chat box, I posted the replay already because this is streaming live on YouTube. And
Cool.
this is something too, Luis, which we're going to do next time, is I can put YouTube live streaming right on your site. And so
cool.
people are watching it on the Beautiful Balanced Brain, and I'm learning more and more about this. Technology, everybody, is wonderful and amazing when it works, and when it doesn't, it can be a different story. So for those of you who had technical difficulties, I also, just bear with us and keep showing up and don't give up, and you can always watch the replays as well. So, but when it comes to the questions, I can read some out to you. Zandra said thank you. Zandra, can you spell the name of the homeopathic for lead detox?
Oh, okay. Plumbum. It's Plumbum. Plumbum.
Plumbum.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then Sandy asks, would you be able to share where you get the bead you wear for radiation? And could you show it? You're a little close on the camera, Luis.
Oh.
If you can.
Let's see. Go back a little bit.
Okay. Or you could stand and show us the bead. We could probably see it.
Let me see. Can you see that now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, so I just wear it on this necklace here. So it's that blue bead. I think it's a company in Arizona, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of them. I've been ordering for so long. But we have them. You can call me. Again, they're like $15, and it's going to last you forever as long as you don't lose it. So, and they also have one for cell phones. So they have a cell phone chip, and then on my computers they have a little bit bigger one, about the size of a quarter, maybe a little bit smaller than a quarter, that I put on all my computers, as well as like my TV, my refrigerator. So I have it on electrical appliances. I have it on my Wi-Fi box. That's an important place to put something like that to really protect yourself. So, so I like those a lot. So those are really helpful. Great. Awesome. Well, very good. Well, you know what, I guess what I want to do is just kind of wrap it up. We've been here for, I appreciate you all being here for this long. It's been about an hour and a half that we spent some time together today. Thank you so much for being here with us. If you're listening to the recording, thank you for checking it out as well later. I invite you to be a part of the Beautiful Balanced Brain. I'm so excited to get Brain Booster started this year. Got a lot of new stuff in there, so I'm excited with the group. So please, again, check that out. Ask questions if you need to. Happy to answer those. If you have questions or you're thinking about this today or this weekend, you can email me as well. It's Louise, L-O-U-I-S-E, Swartz, that's S-W-A-R-T-S, at msn.com. Check out our new website, Beautiful Balanced Brain, and I look forward to working with you. I think our next one is October 15th, and that one is a brain spiritual workshop. So we're going to talk a little bit more about spirituality and brain and how you can balance the brain through working with your spiritual soul body. So I'm very excited about putting that one together for you guys. So I'm looking forward to seeing you next month as well. And until then, and Jake, I want to thank you so much for hosting this and for being a part of this. It's been awesome. Love being able to see you. This is the funnest technology. I love it. I just love it. So awesome, everybody. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Thank you, Louise.
Thanks,
we are very grateful for you, and we'll see you next time. Keep in touch and register for the newsletters, everybody, so you're aware and you're up to date with all the latest events. So I'm done. Thanks, Louise. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Okay, thanks, Jake. Bye.
Bye-bye.